this call, I'm going to show you how we can use a code snippet to modify what the Go High Level chat widget looks like. We're going to make it more of a landing page style where right when they load the page, it's going to be there. It won't be a button to open a chat widget. And this should convert a lot better if you're driving ad traffic to a specific page, hoping people will engage with this source. So let's get started. I'll share my screen. And this will be especially relatable compared to our other tech calls where we're doing more back-end data type stuff. I'm not a front-end guy. I'm not good at changing how things look. So it's going to be a lot more engaging with AI to develop code for us and just pasting it in and trying it out. And I'll show you how to do that. At the end, I will give away the code too, so that you can put this on your own site, totally free, wherever we get to today. So I'm going to share my desktop. There are a couple screens that I have open. One of them will look pretty familiar, maybe. It is the Go High Level editor for websites. The other thing I have open over here is Anthropic. I prefer Anthropic to ChatGPT. It's really good at code. We also use it in our own chatbot, but with Closebot, you can use OpenAI or Anthropic. I like this one. So I have that open. I have my website builder open. And this other screen I have open is called CodePen. It's a free site. It's really cool because you can go and paste code in and it'll make the changes right away on the screen. So we're going to start fresh. Let me just delete it. And you can see it updates. It's now blank. Okay, so first of all, we have our chat widget. Usually when you put a chat widget on one of your sites, you do it by going into settings, chat widget, you can select it right here. Instead of doing that, we're going to copy the actual code. So to do that, I need to go into our chat widget and click into it. And we're just going to say get code right here and copy. This can be put anywhere in the body or footer section of your website. It says it probably would also work in the header. You can pretty much paste this anywhere in your website code and it would work. Now, let me show you something really cool. Even Anthropic. Did you know this is in Chrome, but you can do this on any website. You can click inspect. And then you get a bunch of nonsense stuff over here. This is actually editable. It doesn't actually change the website for everyone, just for you. So if you ever want to go in and play with a website, say I want to go in and delete that whole section, it's gone now. If I want to make changes, I can do that. If I want to change the CSS or see what CSS they used for certain elements, I can do that. So like if I want to see the border, how they did the border on this, I can right click, inspect, come over here, and I'm going to slowly scroll up until I find the section that I want to look at. Oh, there it is. Here's the exact CSS that's being applied to that element. Really cool. So let's come in here in the body and let's see if I can add attribute. Here, let me go back and get the code. I forget how I can actually paste something in here. Here, let's just do it on, this is helpful to know, and we're going to use this later, but I'm just going to paste it in here. And we can see the chat widget is right there now. So what this does, once it loads your site, it's going to call this information here and load it into there. Okay, so that's the most simple installation of this chat widget, and that just works, which in itself is really cool. But first step is it's closed. Obviously, if we have this landing page, people are expecting to see a big chat box right away. We need it to be open right when it loads. Let's go to high level chat widget API. I will drop a link to this in the chat. And this will blow some of your minds what we can do with this. So we have a couple different things they let us do. One of them is open widget, and it shows us how to use it. Let's try this. Okay, if you just paste it in there, it's text. That's not what we want. That's because it's a script. It has to go in a script tag. And notice it still didn't work. That's because this gets loaded in while this is being called, but this isn't really in there yet. So let's start to go to OpenAI or Anthropic and just tell it what's happening. I called that function to open my widget, but it didn't work. Just want to see what it says. Okay, so it said likely due to timing. A whole bunch of stuff that you probably don't understand. I'll pretend like I don't understand. And we'll just copy the code that it says. Okay, that still didn't work. Oh, there, now it did. Cool. But I didn't like how it waited. So let's go back in there, paste this new thing in, and say, I want it to open the widget right away. I want the chat window, the widget to be hidden until it opens. So it never displays while closed. This isn't going to work quite the way we want it to, and I'll explain why. Although it might. We never know with AI what it's able to do. But let's just go and try this. Okay, it's still there. It's not opening at all anymore. So that didn't do what we wanted. So let's look at this page. We're going to use our skills that we learned earlier. I'm going to right click this. Yeah, right click, inspect. And I'm going to slowly go up until it encapsulates the whole widget. Okay. So here is the element that code is adding at some point after the screen loads. Let me copy this in. Okay, so I'm just copying that element in and saying, hey, I want this to be hidden until it loads. So it's going to add some style to hide the widget initially. And let's paste this in. Okay, that opened it pretty much right away. I really couldn't see it, but it looks like it was disappeared. Let's change something so that it forces it to load again. It looks like it had disappeared and then loaded again. Let's slow it down. This is where we do the timer. So let's make it 2 seconds. Okay, nope, it didn't hide the whole thing. Now let's go back to here. What is happening is it doesn't actually know when it's loaded. We need some way to know when this is loaded. Luckily, they have a way for us to point to it. So this is after it gets loaded completely. Let's paste this in too. Okay, so we need this style in this script. Style. Script. Okay. Well, it's not loaded. This probably didn't add in the original. Yeah, that didn't add in the original chat widget code. So this said modify my script because I gave it the script and I already had this in here. It didn't tell me to add this one in again. It just told me to modify this part. So it's saying we still need this. Okay, happened pretty fast again. Let's try to delete it, copy it, paste it all back in there. Yeah, so that button isn't showing at all. Nothing's showing until it's loaded. That's good. So we accomplished mission number 1. We got it to open right away. It's not showing anything until it's loaded, so it's not going to open up a blank box. Next, I don't want that button there. So that's easy to solve. Let's right-click that and inspect it. Same sort of thing. I'm going to scroll up until we're not on that button anymore. Okay, there it is. I can copy the element, which copies everything in there. I really just need the outer HTML. So the outer box that's encapsulating what I'm on. Because we're just going to always hide that. I don't ever need to see it. Okay, so two things. I'm going to say I have this button that I don't ever want to see, but it's loading here. Let's do this first. Button is loading from the following code. And let's put our code in there. See how fast it makes it to edit stuff when you're here in CodePen versus going into your website editor, saving it, and going to preview, refreshing. It's just really quick. If you're doing like a little project like this. Okay. So two ways to do it. It says you can use CSS to hide the button. Let's try that first. CSS is always preferred just because it's simple. All my CSS is right in here. Okay, and similar sort of problem, this button and the widget are loaded into the screen after everything. So it's overriding its own CSS. So don't want to use that. Let's try the other way. Add this code to your existing script block. Okay, that didn't do it. Let's see what's happening in here. So let's first here. See what else it says. And paste this in here. I tried this, but it didn't work. Okay, let's try this. Still there. These troubleshooting skills are so important. Okay, let's look at this. Here, let's ask the question to the AI in a different way. So I know we're already doing some stuff with this. How can I add code to hide that button to this existing script that waits for the button to be there? Modify your existing script. So let's try to take this. Nope. Just for you guys wondering if we're ever going to get there on the call, I have done it, so I have the code to do it. I'm just trying to work through this stuff with you. Let's try this. Totally not what we want. Okay. Let's look at this page. Okay, so if I go here, this is the CSS being applied to that. So we can see if I come in here and did change the display, that's what we want. That gets rid of it. So let's come in here. We have this function, hide button. Yeah, that's getting our button. Let me show you something else cool we can do. If I want to see what this does, I can come in the console, and this is where you can put in JavaScript. This selects our button. If it's showing it's not selected. Here, let's try this. So, and you can come to this conclusion by pasting this in and saying, what does explain what each of these lines does? Yeah, this is supposed to select our button. You would expect that when I paste it into here and start to type in button, it should tell me about that button, but it's saying null. That means nothing. So it's not finding the button. I'm going to right click that. I'm going to copy JavaScript path. It's a more direct way to point to where it is. So let's say, okay, there, now we've found it. Let's try this next line and see if that's working. Okay. Let's paste that error in. Using this to select a button. I want to hide the button like this. Your questions to the AI probably won't be formatted as well as this because you don't know as much of what this code does as even I do. But you'd just be able to paste in the whole thing and say, here's what's not working. How can I fix it? And now you know a little bit about errors that come up here. You can open this and say, hey, there's this thing in here. How do I fix that problem? Getting this error. Try this one. What was it? Was it in a function? We just add that to it. Just try just adding it to the bottom. Nope. Let me go look at the code that I was able to get it to spit out earlier. Okay, so see proof that we get there. Let me go in here and we're just going to have it explain. Explain some of the functions in here. So AI is really good with code. Very helpful. It makes code a lot more attainable for a lot of people. A lot of people are learning code this way just by pasting code in and saying explain. And if you still don't understand, you can say explain it to me like I'm 5, that kind of thing. So we have the show chat widget function. This is responsible for displaying and positioning the chat widget. Let's go find that. Show chat widget. This is applying a lot of different styles after the chat widget has loaded. So we have the button, we have the container. This is the chat widget container, and then we're applying a lot of different things to it. Let's modify some more. I, for example, don't want this header. Let's see where that is. Okay, that's right here. Let me copy the outer HTML that, and I don't want that. And again, you guys are going to get this code and it'll work with your widget too to do the exact same thing. I don't want this section of the chat widget to display after it's loaded. Okay, so we have our show chat widget function, but it's adjusting. Let's copy this whole thing and paste it where we have the show chat widget function. Cool. That's not there anymore. Now, I mean, you guys are the ones putting this here, but if I didn't want that anymore, I could do the same thing. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, let's look at what it's doing. Okay, so we have this one that works. Heading element. This is how it's getting the header. This worked. Let's try to do something similar to get that other section. Let's do the method of getting that element the other way, where I'll right click, inspect, right click, copy JS path. I'm going to go back to the other code that didn't work. No, back to this one. Okay, let's try to just give it some more information over here. Let's see if this works. There we go. So this is really cool. This is just a bare text area where they can interact with our bot. This is even plugged into our demo bot. This works just like the chat widget, you know. Next, let's make it a little wider. Is this the width one? Oh yeah. Now something you have to keep in mind if people are doing this on mobile devices too. Obviously, if I tell it I want it to be 400 pixels wide, if their device is 300 pixels wide, it's going to be cut off. But maybe I say I want it to be 100%. Max width. There. And I could have gotten there by pasting this whole thing into the AI and just saying, hey, I need this to be, if it's on a smaller device, I want it to cover the whole device, but maximum, I want it to be medium big. And it would give us something like this. In fact, let me just paste that in. And just say, is target element going to be mobile friendly size? Does include some responsive design elements. Position center of the screen. Give some ideas on what we could do. So this is where if you go and you test it on mobile and it doesn't work, these are some things you can do. Go try to implement some of this stuff. Because I don't care that much on this one, I'm going to take this code from here and run with this. I really like this. So I'm noticing too, it's always going to be centered. So I'd have to make sure this isn't a landing page that's designed to like scroll up and down. If it was one that had to scroll up and down, I would have to change this so it's not a fixed position. But this fits exactly for what I'm looking for. I just want a single page. I don't want my leads to get distracted. I want them to see this, maybe have some pretty stuff on the side, some info about the product. But this is exactly what I want. So I'm going to come in here to our website. Edit the site for Big Muscles Gym. And let's open the code editor for this custom code and paste it in here. Save it, and let's check it out. So what I did there is something that is a really good skill to learn how to do, to clear all memory of a page of its former settings. Sometimes you have to do right click inspect and then right click the refresh button and do empty cache and hard reload. And that clears its memory of everything it had before. It's trying to be effective, trying to load as quick as possible. So usually it'll bring in old settings. We don't want it to do that. So now I have this here. Really effective for driving traffic to this and forcing engagement rather than just having a bunch of text on the screen and hoping that their eye notices there's a chat widget. Okay, and this is actually going to be how we run our demos now. So thank you for allowing me the opportunity to do this and making our demo screen way better. Let's open it up for questions. I'm going to go into the chat. Before I forget to, let me put this code someplace where you can use it. The recording of this will be available as well. But this is where you're going to put your copy and pasted script. So I'm going to get this out of there. And that's where you're supposed to put your script. Right there. So I'm going to copy this just before I forget. You guys will want this right away, I'm sure. And let me make a new folder or a new drive, and I'll share it with everyone in the chat. Just gonna do a new Word Google Doc, that's fine. So this is what you copy and paste, and I'll share it. Not editor, viewer. There we go. So grab that. Again, I will have the recording of this on our YouTube. So please go subscribe to our YouTube so you don't miss it. It's the CloseBot YouTube channel, and I will have this link in there as well. So you'll be able to follow along, copy the script, paste it in, and then again, you'll want to paste your chat widget script in there. And that's going to get you this awesome landing page. Okay, now Judy, if you could make me the host again, that would be awesome. Until then, and to do that, Judy, you just go over my name in the participants list, 3 dots, you can make me the host. Actually, I can reclaim it. Nice. Okay, I'm the host again. Sweet. Okay, so if you have any questions that you want to do on video, go ahead and just thumbs up, raise your hand, actually, raise your hand in your settings, and I can go to you. I'm going to go through some of the comments in here, see if there are any questions. Yeah, so anyone who's on this call that doesn't know this, I went to school for mechanical engineering. I had one computer class and I hated it my freshman year. Got to work at Boeing, did no code stuff, but slowly got an interest in it, and I am self-taught. So I did have mentors. This was before AI was useful. So I worked with mentors to ask a lot of questions like this too. But I'm self-taught. You guys can be self-taught. Max, the person who does our V1 updates now, he's self-taught. So you guys can definitely do this. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? You can't set it to not time out after 15 minutes and no activity. That'd be more of a server side thing. But it's going to be open the whole time. Let me go to here. It's going to be open the whole time, so they can just click it. It won't be as much of an issue that way, because it's not going to close out on them. And that'll continue the whole conversation with them. So, what's up, dog? Let me see. Anything else? Yeah, Holly. You guys saw the fast track, but yeah, sometimes it takes us a long time to solve these seemingly simple issues, and then the things that we thought were going to be really complex are quick. You never really know how long things are going to take. Okay, Tracy, you have a question. You can unmute yourself.
Oh, shit.
And go ahead.
You can hear me okay?
Hold on. Everyone else can hear you. I cannot. Let me fix my audio.
Hang on. I'm going to fix mine too. Hang on. Sorry.
There we go.
Okay, this helps, I think. So the box is no matter where you have that place in the editor, it's always going to float in the middle of the page.
Yeah, the way it's set up, it's always going to be in the middle of the page.
Okay, so no matter where in the editor I have that block of code, it's always going to float in the middle.
And that's because we set it up to do position fixed. That means I'm going to tell you exactly where I want you. If I said relative, that would mean, hey, I want you to be relative to where this element is.
Yeah.
And it's going to change based on that. But yeah, this is always going to be in the center. And if you want that to be changed, you can easily copy and paste this whole code in and tell it how you want it to be positioned, and it'll make changes for you.
Right. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, Michael.
Oh yeah, so I put this in the chat, but is there any way to have it, since if somebody uses this as a thank you page, so somebody they've already filled out a form, they arrive here and then the bot knows who they are already? Because you filled out the form and the details are there.
No, there's not. So High Level had an issue previously where when you conversationally got someone's email address and I'm getting to an answer to your question. When you got someone's email address, it would break the chat because it would merge the contact on the back end, and that would break the web chat session. They wouldn't be able to engage with you anymore. They fixed that. So even when you merge, it merges the conversation. Closebot hasn't yet accounted for that. So even if the conversation merges with an existing contact, it breaks it for us. Here in the next couple weeks, we'll fix that. So something you could do is say, hey, I'm not sure who this is. Can you give me your email address with us? So we know who we're chatting with. Once we implement that change, it would merge with an existing contact, and then it would know the whole conversation history with them if they're an existing contact.
But it has to be by email or phone number.
Yeah, either email or phone number is how they merge contacts.
Because I thought that they were pretty good at cooking and knowing who you were all anyway. So,
No, not with this web chat.
okay.
Great questions.
I just one other quick question. This may be off the topic if it's okay. I just wanted to know the summarizer. Is there any way to I know I see the lots of ways to initiate that summarizer, but what if I just want to initiate because it keeps updating, right? I want to be able to initiate once a day for for setters to have notes of the chat history overnight, but not necessarily if they booked or if they, you know what I mean? Like if they just some way to add notes to for the setters to read that without going into Go High Level to see them.
So let me share my screen just so everyone else knows what you're talking about because they may not know. With the Closebot app came a new automation that you can call to summarize. It'll read the whole conversation with the contact and give a summary. You can add additional instructions if you want to clarify how you want it to summarize, and it'll load it to this contact.conversation summary field. You're saying that you want it to load a new summary every day for any contacts that have engaged with you.
Yeah,
right?
between certain periods of time so that setters would have those notes available to them in a caller program.
Perfect. So what I would do is create a workflow
Yep.
where when a contact has replied,
Oh, just any reply would just update one by one?
no, not quite.
Okay.
So anytime a customer has replied, they'll enter this, and then I'll do a wait. Maybe your team is coming in every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 9.
Wait till 8:45 or something.
You know, maybe we want it every day at 9. So let me stop it at 9:15. So every day, if it's not between 9 and 9:15, they're just going to be stuck in here until the next day at 9, where they'll all come through. It'll summarize the conversation for anyone who sent you a message.
Thank you so much. That's
and then your team that comes in at 9:30, they'll have all the summaries there ready for them.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, this is a premium action. So High Level does charge a penny per usage, which is another good reason why, Michael, once a day is good. Closebot doesn't charge anything on top of that. So
Is it free if we use the API endpoint? Or I guess that's a custom action as well.
follow the API instruction that I gave. Yeah, that'd be pretty much free. We set that up in a way that it's totally free. And so if you're doing this at scale, that might be a better option for you. And a recording of that video is on our YouTube for anyone that's
Oh, is it? Okay, I was looking for it. And then those additional summary instructions, that's just the prompt area where I can just modify the summary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Sarah.
Hey, Bryce.
Hey.
So you touched on what I was going to ask a little bit as you were talking to Mike. So we were using the chatbot with CloseBot, and I think a couple of days ago I heard that there was some issue where when they send an email, it breaks the conversation.
Breaks in what way?
If they, I guess that's what you were saying a minute ago, right? Like if there, what if they were already a contact in our CRM. And
Yes.
with the chatbot, if they come through the chatbot and they're having a conversation, there's some issue
Yes.
somewhere.
Because when they come in from the chat widget, they get a contact created. That contact has a contact ID, and that's where we're looking. But when they give an email and it's an existing contact, it merges with that existing contact. So the contact ID changes, and then we no longer know who it is on the CloseBot side.
Mhm.
We're going to implement stuff to fix that within the next couple weeks. So we'll change the contact if the contact changes from the chat widget. We'll handle all that. But yeah, currently, if contacts merge while they're engaging with the chat widget, yeah, it does. It does screw with stuff.
Okay, so we just have to wait for that fix then. There's no workaround.
Right. No workaround.
Okay. Okay. And then another question that I have, I don't know if it's a question or, yeah, let me show you what I'm talking about. So currently we're using lead bubble in place of the GHL chat widget. Based off what you showed us right now, I'm wondering if I can move that to the middle of the landing page rather than the bottom. Let me share a screen and show you what I'm talking about. So all the changes that you made, I may not have to worry about if I can bring this to the middle. So you can see this little bubble that's moving. We actually get them to.
Other people can see it. Other people
You,
can see it.
everybody sees it? Okay. So we have got this bubble with the video, and that's kind of how we get them to engage. So when you click on it, it plays the video, and then they get an opportunity to either call or message. So they're, on the bottom, call to action will show up. There you go. So this is where we engage with them in a conversation. So I'm wondering if I can pull this whole thing into the middle of the landing page.
Yeah,
Just
you have to
directly
go through
from.
the whole process again. This code that we came up with today is specifically for the GHL chat widget.
Right.
You'd have to go through and generate your own code for this widget.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to my V and see how he integrated this and see. Okay, so I was just wondering if we're able to do the same thing that you did.
Yeah.
But this is still on top of the GHL widget.
Then yeah, it might work.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna test it out and see.
Okay.
Just curious if you knew. All right. That's cool. Thank you so much, Bryce.
Of course. Jeff.
What's up, Bryce? Good job,
Hey,
man.
good to have
Thanks.
you.
Thanks for getting this done. So I just wanted to share with people real quick, a use case that we're looking forward to using this with is with like evergreen webinars. So you can imagine a two container kind of a system where on the left side you've got the evergreen video over there that people can watch the webinar. And on the right side, you've got this chat widget now sitting there that can always answer an evergreen question. And then what you guys can do is transcribe your webinar because it's recorded, and then use that as a knowledge base for the AI to know how to answer any questions that come through the webinar based on what the presenter speaker said. The AI already knows the conversation. And now the part of my question for you, Bryce, is like, because the thing does time out after 15 minutes, will someone re-engaging the box, will that reset the objectives and the closed bot goals and start them back at objective number one?
No, it won't.
Or will it kind of just like assume they've been through the objectives already? How does that treat that?
Let me show you what happens. This is a good opportunity because see it timed out. So let me go in and find this contact. So here's that contact. If I go and re-engage with it. It'll pick up the conversation right where it left off. Here, where
So
is it?
what would be a good strategy then for long form webinars where even though you've got, let's say, 5 or 6 objectives for the close bot that you've pre-programmed, you don't want it to like start trying to close people and book in an appointment with the sales rep 15 minutes into the call if they burn through all the objectives so quickly. How can we kind of like time it out so that when the prospect says, okay, I would like to get on a call, the bot is intelligent enough to know that without waiting to get to that objective. Make sense?
So you want it to like time out on the objectives prior to booking a call.
Almost like,
Like, I want
when
to get all this info, but if you've been here 15 minutes, I really just want you to book a call, that sort of thing.
well, most webinars are like an hour to 2 hours long. And so I just want the ability, if the prospect in the chat says, hey, this is great, I got to go. Can I set up a time to get on a call with someone and ask some questions? The bot would then be intelligent enough to say, sure, when do you want to get on a call, and just book some conversationally?
So that's where you would have to get creative and use our skip. Our methods of skipping and look for key phrases right now, because there's no way to like skip objectives dynamically using AI. But you could look for keywords and then check mark the goals accomplished to skip the objectives, and then it would be on the booking objective. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So if it camps out on the booking objective, let's say I had 3 objectives, and the first objective is be helpful, answer questions. And then the next objective is, ask if they want to speak to somebody and book a call. And then the third objective is the booking objective and whatnot. And it burns through the first 2 objectives. They're 30 minutes into the webinar. Is that bot going to keep trying to book them on a schedule? Or will it then go back and still try to be helpful and then realize it still has to get them to a schedule eventually?
Check out the collections and watch the one on how objectives are ordered through, how it goes through objectives. It's
Okay.
very predictable how it goes through those objectives. So go into that collection and search order, and it'll show up there.
All right, I'll go through it. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat as well. But I want to
But the part about having the video on the left and the chat container on the right, that's easily done if you're putting the code inside one of its own containers, right?
totally. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Other questions? You guys are my priority right now, so I want to get all questions answered if there are any. I don't see any hands up. Let me go through the chat real quick. In the last screen, the chat widget with the video. In the last screen, the chat widget with the video, the aesthetics spa. Oh, go high level plus lead bubbles. So Sarah, you shared that. Cool. Let me look for that. Sarah, can you share that in the chat again? Okay, cool. I appreciate everyone. Again, a recording of this will be available. Might take a couple days, but we'll get on it as quick as possible. Let me share again one last time a link to the code. So you can copy and paste this code into your site. Here is where you'll put the code for your specific chat widget, and it will give you something that looks exactly like this. Awesome. Appreciate everyone. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next week on our Tech Hour. Bye.